There is a hidden switch in your body that basically controls your healing. It also influences your things like your energy and fat burning as well. And the truth is that for the majority of us, this switch is set to the wrong position practically all the time. Now, both positions are important, and I'll explain why. So I wanted to understand a bit more about the relationship between stress and healing. And so I did some research, typing into ChatGPT, is it true that high cortisol prevents healing? And I'm going to tell you exactly what I got back, okay? So there is robust scientific evidence that high stress inhibits the parasympathetic nervous system, PNS. It keeps the body in a state of sympathetic dominance. That means that the sympathetic nervous system is in charge, okay, otherwise known as fight or flight. And here's the evidence, right? First of all, the physiology. So your autonomic nervous system has two primary branches. There's the sympathetic nervous system, which mobilizes energy for immediate action. This puts you in action mode, so as a good response to stress or danger, threat, that kind of thing, okay? This is the fight or flight mode. The other one is the parasympathetic nervous system, and that restores calm and supports healing. And that's the state that you should go into when there is no threat, okay? And you should be in it for most of the time. Also promotes digestion and immune function as well. So this is what's known as rest and digest, but you can also add repair and heal to that list as well. Now, the important thing to understand is that these two systems function antagonistically, like your biceps and triceps muscle. You know, when one's pulling one way, the other one has to release, and so on. You can't have both of these systems activated at the same time. It's either one or it's the other that's dominant, okay? So when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, parasympathetic nervous system is suppressed, okay? And this is a fact in neurophysiology. Right, let's talk about cortisol and the vagus nerve. Vagal tone, what we call it, is the vagus nerve activated or at rest. So high stress increases cortisol. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone. It's a glucocorticoid released by the adrenal glands, which sit on top of your kidneys, okay? Now, elevated cortisol has been shown to suppress vagal tone, okay, which is a marker of the parasympathetic nervous system activity, so you can measure that. Low vagal tone is associated with poor emotional regulation, poor digestion, poor immune function, poor sleep, right? These are all functions that are governed by the parasympathetic nervous system, and all things that we see very often immediately improved when taking this product, okay? Now, another really, really key measure is HRV, heart rate variability. So heart rate variability is a non-invasive way that you can measure the autonomic nervous system balance. Basically, the higher your heart rate variability, okay, the higher the parasympathetic or vagal nerve activity. We know chronic stress reduces heart rate variability, including persistent suppression of the parasympathetic nervous system. So people with anxiety, people with depression, PTSD, often show low heart rate variability, and that reflects, again, chronic sympathetic dominance. Okay, so that's you're stuck in the sympathetic mode, fight or flight, most of the time. There are clinical observations to back this up, and I'm going to give you 4 references below this as well if you want to go and check it out for yourself. Okay, in trauma therapy, there's things like somatic experiencing and polyvagal informed therapy. Regaining parasympathetic dominance is seen as essential for healing, right? So this is definitely in the psychological side of things, but it's essential for healing. We also know that there are techniques like deep breathing, like meditation, safe touch. All of these things stimulate the vagus nerve and promote parasympathetic activity. But this is only possible when stress is down-regulated. So getting on top of your stress is essential for healing in so many ways. There are studies, plenty of studies in heart rate variability as well. For example, there's a randomized placebo-controlled crossover trial involving 34 healthy adults, which assessed the impact of MHBA supplementation. So it's matured hops bitter acids, right, on the impact on the autonomic nervous system. Okay, the study found that matured hop bitter acids intake significantly increased high-frequency components of heart rate variability during cognitive tasks, which are indicative of enhanced parasympathetic vagal activity. Right? This suggests that matured hop bitter acids can modulate parasympathetic nervous system activity in humans. Okay, so what do we take from this? High stress means high sympathetic tone, which means you're stuck in fight or flight, and low parasympathetic activity. That's a fact. Right? So, bottom line, if you want healing to be part of your body's daily routine, you have to activate your vagus nerve and your parasympathetic nervous system for several hours during the day. Matured hop bitter acids, or matured hops extract, does that. But more importantly, if you want healing to be part of defining the future you, your future life, again, you must activate your vagus nerve and your parasympathetic nervous system. So, visualize how you see yourself in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, 30 years' time. Is this a healthy version of yourself? Or is this a version that has degenerated, become sick, or remained sick for many more decades? So we seriously think that through. Because look at how, how would you rate your level of health now compared to 10 years ago or 20 years ago, right? Is it on the decline or is it improving? If it's improving, that's fantastic. Then ask yourself, where do you see it in another 10, 20, 30 years? There are many ways of activating and stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, but taking matured hops extract is the only one that ensures that you activate that system, okay? That's why we're seeing the results that we're seeing every single day. Now, I'm not allowed to share these results with you in public for legal reasons, but if you put more in the comments, just type more in the comments, I will get in touch with you, and personally, I will give you all the facts. So if you want to know more, just type more in the comments, and we'll have a conversation. Thanks.